Hi, welcome to If I Did It, a show where we analyze and solve pure kerfuffles from a world beyond.
Sergeant Brin called, and he said, "You want to know why you're not getting monetized? It's the heavy breathing thing." Like,
that's a heavy breath. That's different from heavy breathing.
Well, you know, the algorithm can't tell the difference. All right. And when the sweatshop in Bangladesh comes to double check, they can't tell the difference.
You know, dude's a close personal friend of mine.
Sergey?
Yeah.
Wow, you both into the singularity together?
More specifically, his father. His father and I have the same conversation once a week, every week.
Oh, yeah?
His father's like, "Hey, when are you going to put some bags in here?" I said, "It costs about $4,000 to put the bags up." He's like, next week, "Hey, when are you going to put some bags in here?"
Bags? What kind of bags? Sandbags? What are you, bags?
These guys are training, man.
I see. When are you going to put $4,000 for punching bags? That's ridiculous.
To mount them. Yeah. You gotta.
You're the carpenter?
I'm not. Yeah, any gym that would have me as a carpenter wouldn't be a gym worth going to, buddy.
Jeez.
Exactly. I was about to tell Sorrel that this guy's not certified. Anyway.
I am certified.
Okay, sorry.
I am certified. Alexi Old, your host. Joining me as always is Kid Native Bloody Elbow and Eugene S. Robinson from Ozzy.com. Author of Fight Everything You Ever Want to Know About Ass Kicking, but afraid you'd get your ass kicked for asking.
You see how early in the show, you see, he just tried to lead me down the primrose path. Kid Nate.
You're gonna blame me for that?
If he can't rise to the level, he'll drag me down.
I'm the one that's trying to get this over with so I can go watch American Horror Story afterwards. No way would I do that. No way.
Horror Story.
Horror stories. American Horror Stories.
Horror. Oh, yeah. That's a different thing.
Yeah. This isn't Fox. Anyway, go on.
Eugene, you're UFC President Dana White.
Ooh, the bald one.
Why were you in Las Vegas, live and in public, if you will, for a boxing match instead of Pittsburgh for a televised UFC fight card?
Well, I don't know if you've ever had somebody who's in a greater sausage position than you say to you something along the lines of, "Well, you're too smart to be that stupid." So it's either you're what do you say? You're either crazy or really, really stupid. So he had to know that people were I had to know as the bald one that people were gonna spy me in Las Vegas. It's not like they're gonna miss the fact that I'm in Las Vegas. So why would I want it known that I was in Las Vegas? Why? What message do I want to send out by not putting myself in Pittsburgh, but putting myself very specifically in Las Vegas? What kind of message do I want to send to Showtime, say? Who I might be negotiating the rights with after we move beyond Fox in 2018? What might be the reason that I might do that? You know? I'm not a stupid guy, especially. So it's not an accident. It's not like he got caught. I mean, he knew people would see him, right? It wasn't like you caught me skulking into the arena and skulking out with a disguise on, like Aldrich Ames. No, he walked in, took a seat, waved to people, had pictures taken, and people were like, wait a minute, don't you have an event tonight? And he was like, yeah. What do you make of that? Me at a boxing match. Now, he was a cardio kickboxing instructor. He driven out by Whitey Bulger and that ilk out of Boston. Big fan of boxing, like the chowder heads. But why is he there at the fight? Or how about a better question? Where's Don King been? That we started talking about on Knuckle Up, or Bob Arum. So it's just Oscar De La Hoya.
They're a million years old. That's where they've been. They're old and dying.
Nature and the bald one might be abhorring a vacuum. I think you posed it as though it were a dereliction of duty. I don't think it's as much a dereliction of duty as I'm saying something to you. And if you don't have the ears to hear it, that's on you. It could be what you might be saying is, what he's saying is, I don't give a fuck about MMA anymore. I don't think that's what he's saying. It remains to be seen what it was he's saying. But if I'm the bald one, I'm sending a message. Whether it's the message that I'm a player in the boxing thing, now after the Mayweather, I'm trying to build momentum, the Mayweather Mac thing, whether it's they do have something planned, but that was quite purposeful. Beware of the optics, or like Chuck D said, don't believe the hype.
That's an elaborate way to excuse, if I can just jump in and take my turn. That's an elaborate way to excuse what was just flagrant malpractice and not giving a shitism. That was phoning it in. That was waiting for his contract to expire. That was a diss to the UFC, and I'm sticking with my guns. So
you're gonna buy that? You actually really buy that?
I do. I buy everything that comes down the road. Like guy comes along with 3-card money deck, I'm in. Somebody's hyping a new sensational fighter, Sage or Page, I'm all in. I mean,
okay.
Like they're telling me that Canelo won. I believe it. I'm there, and I think Dana was just like, who wants to go to fucking Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
When you could just stay at home in Vegas and watch the big fight. And that's the thing. Canelo GGG, other than the decision, that was an epic fucking fight. This was a fight that people cared about. Both guys performed brilliantly. It was, Canelo, I thought, he was getting the shit beat out of him, and he kept dropping those bombs and laying those counter combinations on Golovkin long after I thought he was done. And
you're a better man than I am for going for this okey doke. My enjoyment of the fight is completely ruined by Adelaide shenanigans. I
am not letting that bullshit ruin it for me. But I do want to say, boxing can't get out of its own way. Like, I get where they want to fix the fight, and they want Canelo to have a judge in their pocket because Vegas, et cetera, rematch. But do you have to get such an incompetent one? Because if she had scored it, 115, 112 or whatever instead of 118, 110, it would have been a perfectly reasonable scorecard.
But remember, he said when you're going to fix something, they say, "Oh, you can't fix football. There are too many people." You don't have to fix a whole team. You fix one person. Yep. She's sitting there.
The fix. That's obvious.
But she has no idea what these other cats who think they're playing baseball are going to put down on their card. She has no idea. So she's gotta lard it so that
doesn't matter. All that matters is who she says won. It doesn't matter what spread she puts on.
Okay.
Nobody's betting on her. They're not adding up the point totals from each card. I mean, it's it's a winner take all card.
Which makes it even stranger if you think about it, right? Because you have to be able to say, okay, let me give rounds now because I don't want to have to give all the rounds later.
Yeah,
right?
that's
so you have incompetence, but also you have the appearance of incompetence, but that also is a cover, right? Oh, she's not fixed. She's just incompetent. Anyway, that leads us to our next question. Nate, you're the Nevada Athletic Commission. How do you handle the calls for increased oversight over boxing in wake of the Alvarez GGG controversy?
This is like the deaf guy who was just making up the hand signals.
The Hurricane Harvey sign language interpreter. Well, what they should have done was immediately suspended her. But what they did instead was let rumors go out that they were suspending her and take. She's going to be on the UFC 116 card. She's going to be judging again in the UFC at the next big pay-per-view. They need to not do that. But instead, they put out the rumor that she's not going to, or somehow the rumor got out that she wasn't going to do it. And then they said, no, she is. So that's terrible. Like, if you're going, don't let a rumor get out that you're going to do the right thing and then not do it. Like they need to admit they were wrong, put her out to pasture. They've done this with judges before. I can't remember the specifics, but it was one of the Pacquiao disasters when Pacquiao clearly won the fight against Bradley. And I believe they put the really elderly lady judge out to pasture. And why is it always lady judges they get to do this? I think there's
it adds to that whole, incompetent women shouldn't be judging boxing, right? If you're going to find a patsy, you need to find a patsy.
I see. Well, and so as is, but the real issue, the real constituency that Bob Bennett needs to be concerned about is the casinos. The casinos are the ones, the way that they change the financing of the athletic commissions. And that's why the commissions are suddenly all loosey-goosey with the rules changes and booking these big fights, because they really desperately need to get money because they're basically getting no money from the state. That gives the casinos this huge power over the commissions, and they done fucked the casinos with this draw bullshit. Like, bettors are having to give refunds back on bets, and that's not what they want to be. They don't, you know, when the house gets the money, they like to give out a little bit to the winners. They don't like to give out massive give backs. I mean, that fucks up their whole business plan. So Bennett was too clever by half. He wanted to fuck, I mean, allegedly or insinuating. I'm not actually saying that the dude fixed the fight. I can't prove that, but it smells bad like he did it. If you're going to do that, though, you know, for the interest of the casino so they can get their rematch and have more money, you don't want to fuck them so that they don't make any money on the fight. That was really stupid. So, again, get a better fixer, Bob, is my advice.
What about you, Eugene?
Well, since my connection dropped out at the beginning, you're going to have to repeat the question. The gerbils that are running the wheel, I'm sorry.
You can't figure out from what it was from the way I brilliantly restated the question.
Well, no, he wanted to see, he wanted brilliance, but he wanted the brilliance of how do you handle the cause of the increased oversight of boxing?
And that's why, because he heard that question.
I want the hand signals. I want the fucking, what is that thing called?
We have to give something for the people that are watching the show as opposed to listening to it.
The semaphore.
Other than a pretty face.
The semaphore. So if I'm the athletic commission, how do I handle the blowback? Is that the question?
Yeah. The judge.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? I mean, I think when I think of any athletic commission, I think of guys like Nathan Sturm. Is it Thurm?
Thurm.
Nathan Thurm. No, it's that Martin Short character. The Martin Short characterization. I'm from. I think it was from Saturday Night Live and SCTV possibly. And it's just like come on. Have you ever met these guys? Hey, have you ever met anybody on an athletic commission?
You're the one with the pinky ring, of course. I mean, who else is going to?
Exactly. These guys are. I used to know a guy, Bob, who was a WBC commissioner, and he was the only guy that I knew who was on a commission who didn't vibe mobbed up. So yeah, now that they've got a PR
allegedly.
Yeah, I was about to get to allegedly. So everybody else who I've seen who's been on the commission, nah, I'm not fucking with these guys. Even I've already said too much. I've already said too much. So if I'm the commission, I have a sit down with whoever's job it is to handle the officiating, and I make it go away. I mean, probably a legitimate meeting. Legitimate people at the meeting with legitimate firearms that they have licensed, and
they meet 50 miles outside Vegas, and the hole's already been dug. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Hey, I have to. I want to step back just a little bit. I know we're pressed for time, but I got a text here that is amusing me highly, and I keep looking at it. So I'm gonna. It sides with you, Nate, over the bald one's absence. He goes, at this point, Dana White is like a married man whose wife has gained 100 pounds and developed a bad drinking problem. It's over, and he can't be trolled to even pretend that he's not seeing other women. Won't even take a shower after fucking the mistress. Just go home, smell like another woman. What's the point? Where is she going to go? Why am I pretending like this will still work? It's the wife's birthday, and Dana says, "Happy birthday, honey," when he gets home and pretends like nothing's happened. Is there a single PPV that he could even be bothered to promote?
Well, one coming up, because Eugene, you're a WME-IMG, and UFC middleweight champion Michael Bisping told MMA Hour that he's considering retiring after his UFC 217 main event match against GSP. However, quote, if there's enough money involved, maybe I'll stick around, end quote. Are you willing to pay or let him just walk away?
I guess Michael Bisping forgot that he's Michael Bisping, didn't he? Did he forget that somehow, somewhere, I could just see them now saying, I want more money. And they're like, no. For those of you just listening, I was nodding my head like I was going to say yes. And then I said no for the full comedic impact. I mean, the reality of it is, though, and I'm glad to see that he's opened the door on it. The reality of it is, if WME and the Baldwin is out of the picture. So if WME thinks that this $135 million will be enviously noted by the remaining 375 fighters on the roster at the UFC, and they're going to go business as usual, you're really wrong about that. You're going to have to pay fools. Our fools are going to start acting out. They're going to leave and go to Bellator. They're going to start saying this is not a good. They have been. They're going to continue increasing numbers because 135 million is 135 million. And if the Diaz from the buzzy rumors that I hear about the Diaz McGregor third-party trilogy, if those numbers come true, can't keep them down on the farm like that anymore, man. You're not going to be able to do it. And the reality of it is, the amount of money it would take to make these guys happy is couch change for you. So, I mean, I don't know that Bisping is the guy to drive this bargain, because he is Bisping, and if he leaves, who cares? But the reality of it is, I like that he opened the door into a discussion that's like, you're gonna have to pay us more. I don't care. I don't have the $135 million. I mean, that innate, and then what else? You're gonna have to pay. Guys are not gonna be getting up in that cage and walking out with $4,000 anymore. No way. No way. What about you? Or the cats who will are not anybody that we're gonna want to see fight. So,
or the masses will pay to see fight.
Correct.
What's your take, Nate?
Well, I think they're in a position where they can wait and see. I mean, wait and see how Bisping looks against GSP, and then if he gets his ass beat, then be like, bye-bye, Michael. I mean, and if Michael looks great and kicks GSP's ass, then say, well, what's the big fight for you? Like, I still don't think he's good. I mean, I think Michael's like asking for this, and I think they can get him for this, because there's really not a big marquee fight for him after GSP. Right. So, screw him and then screw him again. That's my advice for you.
Well, it also sets up a situation where by ruffling the feathers of the remaining contenders in the division, I mean, Rockhold already played. Yeah, I mean, Rockhold already played into that by giving his weird post-fight rants / threat /
Captain Ahab-esque.
Yeah, exactly. Captain Ahab moment. So this is going to cause the rest of the individuals to start going crazy and build something up. Whether or not they take advantage of it, who knows? Speaking of taking advantage, Kid Nate, it's time for your heel turn.
Ooh. And I don't know how this, the theme of the heel turn is, it's a betrayal. Somebody has done a heel turn and done wrong. And this week, the heel turn is Chris Cyborg, who's turning on herself. So Ronda Rousey's erstwhile coach, Evan Taverdian, gets on the MMA Hour and starts free associating nonsense, because the guy's like a legit idiot. Like, if you paid any attention to the lawsuits he was in, like, dude's a disaster. And if you've ever watched him train a fighter, coach a fighter, like, you know what we're dealing with here. He says some shit about how he'd like Rousey to come back. If Rousey comes back to the UFC, he'd like her to fight Cyborg. Great. I mean, it's meaningless, because he has no control over whether Rousey comes back or not. Rousey's moving on. Although if you've seen her bad promo for the WWE, she has no career in wrestling. The girl cannot act to save her life. But for Chris Cyborg comes out and says, I don't care about a fight with Ronda Rousey. She calls Taverdian a joke, which is fine, because he is a joke. But to say you don't care about the fight with Ronda Rousey in the UFC, when A, that would be the most money you're ever going to make in your life by a factor of 10 or 100, and B, I believe she can beat Rousey with her eyes closed and one hand tied behind her back. Why on earth would you express disinterest in the biggest and easiest fight of your career? I mean, it's not the easiest fight of her career, because she's fought so many undersized ladies that shouldn't have been in the cage with her, but nonetheless, take the fight, Chris Cyborg. You are the worst self-promoter ever. This is dumber than hiring Vito.
No.
You don't get to heckle the heel turn. This is legal.
But what you
Talk
do
about the
get
Lost
to do
Battalion.
is walk us through your Lost Battalion. Because
I
Kid might be in it right now.
He set off like a nuclear bomb in my head. Again, I know it's appearance and reality, right? I mean, Cyborg is in a position, you know this from having been in the band. The reason why you have to beat the heckler up is because all of a sudden the energy has stolen from the guys on stage who hauled all that fucking gear there and are trying to sweating their hearts out. And, you know, some clown who paid $15 to get in and a drink is fucking it up. So Tyra starts blabbering, and all of a sudden the world turns and it's like, oh yeah, Rhonda. And then people are saying what you said about, you know, she's not going to, WWE doesn't want her. She's not going to act it. Maybe she could come back. And all of a sudden it's like, you know, I had it. If I could see Cyborg saying, I had to live in this woman's shadow forever. You know, I need to steal the energy back this way. Now,
take the power back.
So Tavardian is a fucking moron, right? She said that, you know, and what she's trying to do is like, you know what, the Ronda show is over. Well, you know, I mean, she could have maybe tied it in a neater bow by saying, she's afraid of me, you know, she's never going to fight me, and then ended it. But she, you know, maybe English is her second language, who knows? But to me, that was perfectly understandable.
You know as well as I do, she was
damn, he whipped out the back scratcher.
Lost in the mist, chopping away, Eugene.
That's what I say. Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice segue. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So now that we've embraced the fact that everybody, the whole promotion, also we're all in the mist. So now when we talk about Lost Battalion, we're talking about extreme Lost Battalion, like the guys whose voices we can't even hear and whose shadowy forms we can't even see. So it's a new standard. OSP is talking like he forgot he's OSP. Like he thinks that people give a fuck that, hey, my name is Owen St. Preux. Nah, not really. I'm an MMA fighter. I'm a light heavyweight. Nah, come on. You seen my fights? Nah, I didn't really. Sorry, I don't know. Have you been following the sport? Yep. Oh yeah. I've been following it. So I mean, his commentary trying to gin up interest in this fight is as interesting as his fight style. So I'm gonna have to say that he's deep, and I should have put him last because first in the deep mist is Tara Vardian, who's saying the crazy shit. I mean, okay, I understand if you're gonna lose your cash cow and you gotta trick some other up and coming suckers into your web. What do you say? To re-inject your name into the conversation? Do you say something smart? Or do you say something crazy? Well, you got the press by saying something crazy, but you know, and who knows? You know, maybe. I mean, I can't see Ronda going for it, and I can't see anybody but an extreme sadist wanting to put it on. But things are strange, man. You're just sitting at home. You know, WWE didn't work out. Entourage guys are not calling. Metro PCS is top of the mountain. You know, maybe you like to do one more heyday before you get pregnant with the babies that you've been wanting to have. I don't know, man. I don't know. But it doesn't change the fact that Tara Vardian, deep mist. OSP, deep fucking mist. And the question is, if OSP is deep mist, where does that put Okami? Hey, as far as I'm concerned, that guy, I'm helping out, company guy. We need, you know, he's having a rock and roll fantasy moment. We need a third violin, you know, Carnegie Hall moment. Is it anybody can play the violin in this house? And Okami raises his hand and he's about to have his moment. You know, I mean, what?
Well, we had our moment.
Awesome, Okami.
Thanks for joining us. Follow us on Twitter, Eugene S. Robinson, Alexio, the Kid Nate, Facebook at MMA Pancholes. Please give us a thumbs up, Eugene.
Imperial Margarine.
Oh, leaving comments on YouTube, subscribe to MMANation.com on YouTube, MMA Nation on iTunes, visit Bloody Elbow, buy Oxbow's Thin Black Duke wherever fine music is sold, and immediately find this show. Be sure to check out If the Shoes Fit. We're going to be having advice for all y'all conservative ladies out there looking for love on Tinder.
And there's a link to the show, to the channel, in the description of this show.
We'll be back next week with another installment, If I Did It, and we don't know what we're going to be talking about yet because apparent mistakes have yet to be made.